Good morning, YouTube, and everybody else. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning. Can't remember the date, but by now you've already seen that, so it doesn't matter much. Getting ready. I'm in the truck, but I'm just moving it so that it'll be closer to where I'm working at. I'm going to try to get the little teeny tiny hay barn fixed today. Get it finished, not fixed, because fixed would imply that it was already done and needed repairs. But anyway, that's what I'm working on, is trying to get this little hay barn done so we can get hay in it, and then we can have hay stored, because I don't really have a good place for that. So we're going to do that this morning, get you a little goat video. Who knows what I'm going to get up to today. But anyway, we're over here. Guess you would call it the goat area. Got a lot of things to do today, but I'm going to try to get some of it on video. Not going to show you a lot of the process, just because nobody wants to see all of that. I mean, it's a lot of me standing around scratching my head trying to figure out what to do next. But anyway, here's the boys, Conrad and Acorn. Unfortunately, we had to do this. They need some more straw. They stay in this. If you can tell, it's these sheep and goat panels, they call them. They're, I don't remember how tall they are. I think they're 48 inches. Anyway, there's Conrad, there's Acorn. And then I put 2 strands of hot wire across the top, and it seems to be working. They haven't gotten out in a while. Here's the little hay barn, hay shed, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty crude. I've just slapped it together. There's only so much you can do with it like this. I've made a mistake. I'll get around there and show you that in a little bit. But there's some of the girls and babies. I wish that little white booger would stand up over there, because he is a monster. The one that's mostly white. It's Fancy, his mom, snuggling him there. And that would be Salty, sharpening her horns. And this is Cookie. Her baby is the one laying in front of the little white one and Fancy. He's not little, he's a beast. And there's Rusty and her 2 babies. They're good looking little boogers. And over here we've got Chocolata and her baby Espresso, and Sophie. See, this would be Chocolata, Sophie, Espresso. That's what they call him. Espresso. Not the espresso. But anyway, they're not too excited. They just want me to throw some hay into them, which I'm not going to do right now. So anyway, I need to get to work on this little barn, get it done. And as I mentioned, I think I've made a mistake. I got in a hurry and didn't pay attention. So I started, we nailed that from this end this way, and I should have started at this end, because I think you can tell I didn't get it all the way in. So I got to pull all those steeples and redo that. But this is it. I think it'll work pretty good. I mean, it is what it is. It's just a thrown together hay shelter. I'm going to put a tarp over it. I've got the tarp in the back of the truck. I got to get the front done and fix the mistake, and then we'll be good to go. I dug this long board out because this is a little over 8 foot long. There's pallets under there. You can see them. There's 2 pallets that we came up with. A guy that we kind of knew, and I bought my stock trailer from, and we've done some trading with him. Of course, he just recently passed away. But that's where those pallets came from. We got a whole stack of them over there. But I wasn't thinking, like I said, when I put this together. But we put the plywood down. See, the pallets run this way, plywood runs this way. And that way it ties everything together, makes that floor stronger. But anyway, then this morning we had pigs get out. We had a breaker trip in the house and shut all the electric fences off. And so we was out there fixing. I found this board. I thought I was going to have to buy another one because, like I said, it's over 8 foot long. Of course, I can't buy an 8 foot 3 inch piece, or 8 foot 3 inch 2x4. So I was going to have to go to town and buy a 10 footer. I think this one's 12. But anyway, we'll get it all together and I'll show you some more later. Oh, I forgot to mention, I got to unload this truck first before I can do anything else. I got to work. I work at a school, and the maintenance guy was fixing to load this up in the school's truck, haul it and throw it away. So I said, hey, if you want, you can just put that in my truck and, you know, I'll take it. So he said, okay. And he went ahead and put it in the school's truck and then hauled it down to mine. And so here it is. That was like Tuesday, and it's Saturday now, and I'm just now getting around to unloading it. I just got time. I mean, right now I'm working a crazy schedule, and it's all my fault, so I'm not complaining. It's extra cash in my pocket. It helps me to reach my goals. So anyway, I got to get after it. Okay, there's the almost final. Yeah, we're almost done with it. It ain't pretty, but it ought to keep the hay dry. Probably going to have to make some adjustments, but we'll see. I'm concerned about the wind, because our wind can get pretty bad at times. But at least now we can get some hay in there. We left a little bit of an overhang out here. I don't know if you can tell it, but just to kind of keep that rain from blowing in. But here's the inside. And I don't think it shouldn't catch. We shouldn't have much of a condensation problem, but we'll see. But I can't stand up straight in here. We got to get these zip ties cut off, but this is what we did. It's pretty solid any way you want to shake it. It's not beautiful. It's not great craftsmanship. And that was my head I just hit. But there it is. It'll keep hay dry. We can put several bales in here. And I think I'm going to break for lunch. Alrighty, I'm back. Had my lunch. Had a nap. And everything's stiffened up on me. Every joint in my body, I think, is stiffened up. But anyway, I'm going to do a little walk around and try to get loosened up here. Oh, sorry. I saw goats where there wasn't normally goats. And then I remembered that the one of the goat pens was left open on purpose. So, speaking of goats, if anybody's interested in goats, we may have some available in the future. The not too distant future at that. So anyway, I'm going to go around here and take a look at some things, and then I got another little project I got to do that will not be put on video. We had a cold snap this last week. And as it was moving in, it wasn't that cold. It was, I don't know, in the 40s, but it was windy. We had a small gilt, she was 35 pounds or so, 40, get stuck in some mud. And we got her out, and she was shivering and shaking, and she's having trouble walking. Well, she ended up passing away. I don't know what caused it, but I've got to take care of that. But anyway, we've had to make some modifications. We had a couple of, or we still have them. That's what we're going over here to look at. A couple of what I call teenage boars. They're 3 or 4 months old. And they have been troublemakers. They like to get out, but we've put a stop to it. We took them off of they were in one of our bigger pens with just a single hot wire, and they refused to stay in. So we put them in here. Well, they kept getting out of here. And then finally we figured out how they were getting out. They were climbing over, which we've had that happen before. But, so, as you can possibly see, we put up a hot wire around it, solved that problem. And I tried something with it that I did not think would work. I don't know if you can see this wire. There it is. It's right there. Runs down here. And all we did was wrap it around these panels. That's our ground wire. And those panels are wired to all the T-posts around here. There's, let me see, 8, 9, 10 of them. And we got this solar charger. Clean that dirt off. That panel will probably work better. And it works. Spotted Dick there and his little buddy, they stay in. This is Spotted Dick, and I can't remember what Ethan calls the other one. And for anybody that doesn't know, Spotted Dick is a English dessert of some type. I don't know, look it up. But I can't remember what he calls this other one. But if you're looking for a couple of good boar prospects or some sausage and bacon prospects, these guys are available. I had a guy show up. He bought pigs from me once before. And then he contacted me. Now, it's been over a year ago that he bought these pigs from me. And he contacted me and he said, I'm going to need some more around August. I said, all right, if I should have some, I'll let you know. We didn't have any at the time, but turns out we had some. So I sent him a message that we had pigs. No response, zero. And just like irritated the snot out of me. Well, I guess it was about 3 weeks ago now. He stopped by and he talked to the #1 farmhand. And the #1 farmhand showed him those 2 pigs right there. Now those pigs are over 100 pounds. And they were bumping 100 then, if not over. But anyway, and Ethan talked to him and did a good job with him. Told him, yeah, they're for sale. I'm not sure what Dad wants out of them. You'll have to talk to him. So the guy sent me a message, said, hey, I talked to your son, on those pigs, and I think I want them. He had asked about boar taint. Boar taint's a video all its own. But let me run this by you real quick. The statistics I can find, and I haven't done exhaustive research on this. I have done quite a bit. But supposedly only 25% of people in the entire world has an issue with boar taint. For some people it's a taste, for other people it's a smell. I've never experienced it myself. I've ate a lot of boar meat in my lifetime. My dad, when we raised pigs as a kid, he only castrated 1 pig that I could remember, and it was about the size of those. And his neighbor come down, and he's the one that actually did the castration. But I held 1 leg, Dad held the other leg. I was, 16 or 17, so I was big enough. I was taller than my dad anyway. But anyway, that's the only one that ever got castrated on our property as a kid. And we ate boars that had never been used for reproduction. We ate boars that had been used. So I'm one of the 75% that don't do it here. And as an adult, as this time around with raising pigs, we've got no problems with it. We've butchered boars and we don't have a problem with it. But anyway, Ethan explained all of that to him because I've talked to him about it and he understands it. Well, the guy's like, okay. So he said, I got to get a pen built. It'll probably be this weekend. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. Haven't heard a word from him since. So that's why those 2 are available. I don't know. I'm thinking about turning them into bacon and sausage just for me. I mean, but if you're close to me or you think you might be, you can send me an email, howlandharryontheprairie@gmail.com, or you can, excuse me, or leave a comment in this video, or on this video, in the comment section, and we'll arrange something. And there's another guy, of course, this kid, it's a kid I've known most of his life. Well, I call him a kid. I think he's in his 30s now, but when your face starts to look like this, you got all this white hair, everybody's a kid. Anybody under the age of 50 is a kid. So, anyway, I've known this kid, and his dad died when he was young, and he's not a bad kid. He just didn't have quite the right upbringing. Didn't have a dad in his life. His mom did the best she could. She was a friend of mine. So, but I had a feeling he wasn't going to show up. So I'm going to have to stop this video for a minute. Okay, so we'll finish this video up real quick. I'm in the shop, sitting down, because that's what I do best, sit. Anyway, this kid told me, yeah, he asked me if I had any gilts available. Yeah, I got one that I'd be willing to get rid of. She said, okay, I'll be down to get it next weekend. Well, next weekend was last weekend. I haven't heard a word from him. Of course, this is the thing you deal with anytime you got anything for sale. You know, people that think they want something and find out they ain't got the money. And this guy with that wanted the 2 boars out there. Like I said, you saw the size of them there earlier. He wanted them for $50 a piece, and I gave him a good price. But he thought he should get them for $50 a piece because they were boars. I've got more feed in them than that at this point. And like I said, I have no problem eating them myself. I'll have it turned into all bacon and sausage and, you know. But I'd rather sell them and, you know, get something out of them. And I did not. I told him, look, that's what they are. And that's that. You know, and he didn't even realize he bought pigs that were, the last time, they were about 2 months old, I think. Maybe not even that old, but they were still small. They were a lot smaller than these guys. So, and that's what you have to deal with. For me, just to give you an idea, and I've quoted this before, it cost me, just in feed, not what I pay the #1 farm hand, to do what he does, which is not what it should be. You know, I'm lucky with him because he understands that he's getting room and board as well for taking care of all that. So, but it cost me in feed alone, just the feed, roughly $300 to $350 to get one from weaning age to butcher size at 6 months. And, you know, I can't sell them any cheaper. I'll eventually, so I haven't advertised those 2 at all. You know, I usually sell everything I advertise. I just haven't got around to it. I mentioned something about my work situation earlier in this video, and it's pretty busy right now with everything that's going on with my 2 jobs. They're at the same place, but you know, they're 2 different jobs. I drive a bus. I drive what they consider 3 bus routes. I take the Votech over to Lamar and bring them home. That's 2 routes, and then an evening bus route. And then I'm a janitor at the high school after that. So, pretty busy, but there's a reason for it I'm not going to go into. I may have mentioned it in some other video. I don't know. But it's my fault. I'm not complaining. It works out pretty good. Money-wise. It's not great money, but it's not bad money for the amount of effort that I have to put out. But anyway, so, you know, the weekends now are busy with scrambling around trying to get things done, like building that little hay barn for the goats. And one weekend one weekend was tied up with that buck pen, running and getting the parts to build it, building it, having to go back and run the 2 hot wires around the top. We started with one, and then we had to add another. You know, everything takes time. And once you get to a certain age, everything takes a little more time. But anyway, that's just a fact of life. That's how it is. And, you know, I'm not complaining, just saying that's the way it is. I am complaining about the pig buyers that ghost me. That's just rude. I don't care who you are. You know, if you decide you don't want them, call back and say, hey, look, I changed my mind. I don't think I'm going to buy them. Okay, no problem. But if you do want them and you lollygag around for 3 or 4 weeks or a month, or I'm liable to sell them out from under you because there's no deposit put down, gave me no definite time frame that you were going to come and pick them up. So keep that in mind. Whether you deal with me, I don't care, or someone else. Think about their time, their effort, how much money they put into it. You know, stop trying to lowball people. That's another pet peeve. You know, it's one thing to try to haggle a little bit, but know what you're doing, know what you're looking at. It's like this guy, you know, he was getting a more than fair price for those pigs, and he still wanted me to drop the price. And he didn't know what he was looking at. You know, and if you don't want them for that price, that's fine. I know when I go look at something, you know, I will try to talk them down a little bit if I can, but I don't try to, you know, beat them up over it. And usually, you know, usually I'll pay their price. Usually, if I've seen it advertised before I even go look at it, I've probably decided I want it and I'm going to pay their price. You know, sometimes I'll try to get a little less, sometimes not, you know. But I don't try to just take advantage of somebody that's already trying to cut me a deal. And I don't price my stuff in a way that gives me much wiggle room. Oh, I was saying it cost me $300 to $350 per pig to raise them, and that's just the feed cost. Like I said, I pay the number one farmhand a little bit of money to take care of them. He feeds them, waters them, puts them back in when they get out, fixes fence, you know, and it's worth a lot more than he gets paid in cash. But like I said, he gets room and board as well. But I only price my butcher hogs at $400 a piece. You know, you end up with about 175 pounds of meat for roughly $600, a little over $625, $650, somewhere in there. But I can't sell it any cheaper. No, I can't sell it cheaper than you can go to Walmart and buy it. But I do believe my meat quality is better because my pigs are raised outside. They get to eat grass and grubs and, you know, bugs or whatever they find that they think they want to eat. And they're in the sunshine. They're getting vitamin D. You know, they're just healthier. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this rant up. I'm about out of memory on my phone, and everybody's probably stopped listening by now anyway. So if you have stuck around this far, hit the old thumbs up button. And if you like what you see, or if you don't like it, I don't care. If you just want to, you know, find out when I got some other crazy nonsense to rattle on about, subscribe. And thank you to my subscribers that stick with me. I appreciate it. There's Charlotte and Sylvia and Jan that are regular watchers, and Ariella all the way down in Australia. I appreciate her watching. I appreciate everybody that subscribes. You know, those 4 that I mentioned, they watch and they comment, and, you know, we have somewhat of a relationship going on. So anyway, we'll catch y'all later. Let's look out for each other. Let's help each other when we can. And don't forget to pray.